Secrets of Australia's Ancient Myths. Australian mythology is a rich tapestry woven from the diverse beliefs of the country's Indigenous peoples. It encompasses a wide array of stories, deities, and moral lessons that have been passed down through generations, deeply influencing Australian culture and identity. Indigenous Australian beliefs are deeply connected to the land, nature, and ancestral spirits. These beliefs form the foundation of their mythology, emphasizing a harmonious relationship with the environment and the spiritual significance of natural elements such as rivers, mountains, and animals. Dreamtime is a central concept in Australian mythology, representing the creation era. It is a sacred time when ancestral beings shape the world and establish the laws of nature and society. These ancient stories continue to guide Indigenous communities. Key figures in Dreamtime stories are often powerful ancestral beings with unique attributes and roles. They include creators, tricksters, and cultural heroes whose actions explain the origins of natural phenomena and cultural practices, serving as moral and spiritual guides. The Rainbow Serpent is one of the most important deities in Australian mythology. It is a powerful creator being associated with water, fertility, and the land. Stories about the rainbow serpent vary among tribes but consistently highlight its significance in creation and life. The creation myths of different Indigenous Australian tribes highlight the diverse cultural landscapes across the continent. Each tribe has unique stories explaining the origins of the world, often centered around significant geographical features and ancestral beings. These myths reflect deeply rooted connections to the land. In Indigenous Australian mythology, ancestors play a crucial role, often depicted as powerful beings who shaped the natural world. Their actions and stories provide moral guidance and cultural continuity, deeply influencing social structures and spiritual practices within communities. Totems are integral to Indigenous Australian beliefs, symbolizing a connection between people, ancestors, and the natural world. Each individual or group is associated with specific totems, which represent animals, plants, or natural phenomena, emphasizing their responsibility to protect and honor these elements. Sacred sites hold immense mythological importance, serving as physical manifestations of ancestral stories and spiritual realms. These locations are often linked to significant events or beings from Dreamtime, and they continue to be places of worship, ceremony, and cultural preservation. Nature plays a pivotal role in Indigenous Australian myths, embodying the essence of spiritual and cultural identity. Natural elements like rivers, mountains, and stars are not just physical entities, but are imbued with stories and spirits, reinforcing a profound respect for the environment. Australian mythology is rich with creatures and beings that inhabit the land, sea, and sky. These mythological entities, like the Bunyip and Yowie, serve as guardians, tricksters, and harbingers of wisdom, deeply woven into the cultural fabric. Myths often impart moral lessons, teaching respect, responsibility, and the consequences of one's actions. They serve as ethical guides, using stories of gods, spirits, and ancestors to illustrate the importance of harmony with nature and community values. The sky and stars hold significant mythological meaning for Indigenous Australians. Celestial bodies are often seen as ancestral beings, with constellations and planets playing key roles in creation stories and serving as navigational aids and cultural landmarks. Water spirits and river myths underscore the sacredness of water sources. These stories emphasize the life-giving properties of rivers, lakes, and oceans, portraying them as dwellings for powerful deities and spirits that must be respected and protected. Fire and lightning are potent symbols in Australian mythology, often representing creation and destruction. They are seen as tools of the gods, capable of both nourishing the land and enacting divine retribution, highlighting the duality of nature's power. Songlines are intricate paths across the land that trace the journeys of ancestral spirits. These pathways are essential for navigation and cultural continuity. They embody the connection between the people, their stories, and the landscape, creating a living map of tradition. Australian mythological stories are deeply tied to the land, offering explanations for natural formations and phenomena. These narratives reinforce the sacredness of specific locations and imbue the environment with spiritual significance, fostering a profound respect for the natural world. Animals occupy a central role in Australian myths, often representing ancestors or spiritual guides. Their behaviors and characteristics are woven into stories that teach moral lessons and survival techniques, reflecting the deep interdependence between humans and the animal kingdom. Art and symbols are vital in depicting mythological figures, serving as visual representations of stories passed down through generations. These artistic expressions are not mere decorations but carry profound meanings, preserving and communicating cultural heritage and spiritual beliefs. Myths and rituals are intertwined, with stories often providing the foundation for ceremonial practices. These rituals, in turn, reinforce the narratives, ensuring the continuation of cultural traditions and the spiritual well-being of the community, creating a cyclical relationship between belief and practice. Colonization significantly impacted Indigenous Australian mythology. European settlers disrupted traditional practices, leading to the loss of oral stories and cultural knowledge. Despite these challenges, many communities continue to preserve their rich mythological heritage through storytelling and cultural education, ensuring its survival. Efforts to preserve myths in modern times involve documenting oral traditions and integrating them into educational curriculums. Digital archives and community-led initiatives play a crucial role in maintaining the stories, allowing future generations to connect with their ancestral heritage and cultural identity. Australian literature deeply reflects Indigenous mythology, weaving ancient stories into contemporary narratives. Authors often draw upon Dreamtime stories and mythological themes, enriching their works with cultural depth and fostering a broader understanding of Aboriginal beliefs and values among readers. Indigenous myths have profoundly influenced Australian culture, shaping artistic expressions, ceremonies, and social values. Traditional stories inform contemporary practices, linking the past with the present. This enduring influence highlights the resilience of Indigenous culture and its significance in Australia's national identity. Comparing Indigenous Australian mythology with other global mythologies reveals common themes, such as creation myths and nature spirits. These similarities showcase universal human experiences, while distinct cultural elements highlight the unique perspectives and environmental contexts of different societies, enriching our understanding of global heritage. Australian mythology has made its way into popular media, enriching films, television series, and literature. These stories bring Indigenous narratives to a global audience, fostering appreciation for the rich cultural heritage and timeless wisdom embedded within these ancient myths. Mythological stories for children play a crucial role in imparting moral lessons and cultural values. Simplified versions of complex myths captivate young minds, teaching them about respect, nature, and the interconnectedness of life, helping to preserve these stories for future generations. The oral tradition of storytelling remains a cornerstone of preserving Australian mythology. Elders pass down tales through generations, ensuring the continuity of cultural knowledge. This tradition maintains the authenticity and vibrancy of myths, connecting communities and reinforcing cultural identity. Reviving and recording Indigenous myths is essential for cultural preservation. Efforts to document these stories in written and digital formats help protect them from being lost. These initiatives also provide a resource for education, ensuring that the richness of Australian mythology endures. The living legacy of Australian mythology continues to evolve, deeply influencing contemporary culture. As these stories are retold and adapted, they remain a powerful testament to the resilience and enduring spirit of Indigenous Australian communities, bridging the past with the present.